Hello, everybody. Welcome to my second live show of the day, back to back, getting it done. It's a marathon. We're talking about For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. Hey, we all have the book.
We came prepared.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to start out. I'm going to have my co-hosts introduce themselves. I always want to know just like something about your channel, anything like you have coming up that you want to promote would be fine too. And your favorite like mystery, thriller, or horror book can be of all time or just like recently. I would love to know that. And then while you guys are doing that, in the comments, if you want to give me what do I want today? I want a heart emoji if you have read it, and I want a skull emoji if you haven't, just so I can gauge who is here and who's not, and if you still need convincing to read it. Yeah, okay.
Okay, I did it.
Okay. My name is Gabby. My channel is Gabby Reads, and I mostly read a lot of like thriller and horror these days. I still do read some romance from time to time that I try to incorporate into my videos too, but for the most part, I'm pretty whipped for thrillers and horrors now these days. One of my recent thrillers, I actually just read it last night, is the new Alice Feeney, Rock, Paper, Scissors. Oh my god, dude. My favorite Alice Feeney so far. This is like a 5-star book. I loved it. It was so good. It had
What's
like
it
the best.
about?
It's about this like married couple who they've been together for 10 years and they're kind of like on the brink of not being together anymore. And so they take this like getaway snowy vacation to try and like save their marriage. But they go to this chapel that's like in the middle of nowhere and it's like super spooky and kind of creepy and they don't know what's going on. And then in alternate chapters, we get like letters that she's written to him over the last 10 years of their marriage. And then it all kind of like comes to a head. It's crazy.
That sounds good.
Yeah,
I like it when books take place in like snowy places. I don't know why. Yeah. It's not isolation, maybe.
Exactly. It had really good isolated atmosphere. Like, it was amazing. So, yeah.
Okay, wait. Did you like the other Alice Feeney's you read though?
I feel like her books have been like really hit or miss for me. I've either really liked them or really didn't like them, but this one's definitely my favorite from her so far.
Ooh.
Okay, good to know. I have a video in mind that maybe I will have to implement that book.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We're watching it happen, everyone. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it my turn?
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. Hello, I am Professor Roslyn. Hi, I'm Lexi. My channel is Alexandra Roslyn. I talk about books. I don't really have anything to promote, but I will say that my new favorite thriller, I think of all time, is The One by John Mars. It is so good. It's kind of like this one in the sense that it's unlike any other thriller I've ever read. So loved it. Highly recommend.
Yes.
Oh my god, I love The One. I can't wait until I keep looking forward to getting to read more from him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that one is a TV show, and this one, did you know that this one is going to be a TV show?
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Robert Downey Jr. is attached, right?
Yeah, and that's how I found out. I went downstairs last night and I was like, Dad, guess what? Your daughter has elite taste because she reads the same books that Iron Man reads. And he was like,
oh, shit. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to have to watch that then. No spoilers on my thoughts of this yet, but we'll talk about that. Thank you for all your emojis. This is great. Lexi, do you want to pitch the book to us?
I would love to.
Haven't read it especially. Maybe we can convince them.
Yes. I don't think I can fit it in with my big head. I'm sorry. So just pretend I'm holding it up. But okay. So For Your Own Good is following Teddy Crutcher, who really cares about his job. He's a pretty dedicated guy. And he has some questionable teaching methods, I would say. And so this book is kind of following the year that his questionable teaching methods have some interesting results. That's what I would say.
That's such a great pitch.
Thank you. You could, I don't know, if like publishers are watching, you can hire me. I don't have a job. So.
A professional synopsis writer.
Is that a thing? I don't know.
I feel like it would be.
I actually I didn't get a good feeling about sometimes when I read a book, I know exactly who I want to play that person, or I have such a clear idea of what this person looks like, their age. I didn't get that for Teddy. I don't know why. I think I read this a lot on audio. I don't know if either of you checked out the audiobook.
I did.
Yeah, I did.
I just I was so captivated by like the person who voiced it
Yeah.
that I wasn't thinking about anybody else and like what this person actually looks like.
Yeah.
With that said, I didn't actually think the audiobook was as successful as it could have been.
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay. I feel like we could have had more narrators.
Yeah? Oh, because there were so many different perspectives? I could see that. Yeah.
I feel like there were a couple moments when he was voicing, like, especially the teenage girl, like, characters, and I was like, I wish.
Mine was Sonia. Mine was when he was voicing Sonia for some reason, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into our star ratings. I would love to know what everybody thought about it. I see we have a pretty good mix of people who've read it and people who haven't. I think we're going to get into spoiler stuff pretty quickly, just because like the book kind of from the get-go reveals a lot of things like right from the beginning. So I don't want to ruin anything for anybody. But if you want to share, if you liked it, if you hated it, and also I don't really remember from you two if you have read other Samantha Downings and what you thought. So can you recap that for me?
Yeah, I'm torn over my actual like final rating, but I think I'm giving it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this one, and I have read all of Samantha Downing's books, and I've enjoyed all of them. I think they've all been like 4 stars or higher for me, and I can't decide if this one's my favorite from her or not. Like, I still don't know, because I do really like all of her books so far. But yeah, I personally really enjoyed this one.
Okay, cool.
I loved it. I gave this thing a 5 out of 5 stars.
Oh, really?
She is my new child. No, but like I really loved it. And I loved it so much that I actually went out and bought Samantha Downing's like My Lovely Wife. And then I just ordered her other one as well. And I was trying to figure out like why I like it so much. And I think it's because it doesn't take itself so seriously. It's a thriller that has dark humor. And I feel like the only thing that kind of reminded me of this is like Gone Girl a little bit. I don't know. I really enjoyed like the dark humor in it. It was really good. Or maybe I'm just weird. Did you guys think this was funny? I thought parts of it were funny.
I thought
Absolutely.
It was funny. Yeah.
I love I just love a gimmicky thriller. This is one of the books that and Samantha Downing in general, that I really do understand the people who hate them. I really get it. There's some thrillers that I read and I have such passion for, and then I'm like, how does everybody not love this? But with Samantha Downing, she has a very specific writing style, and it's very over the top. Her narration style is, to me, just so funny and interesting, and I love it so much. This is actually like my least favorite Samantha Downing. Ooh. But I gave it 4.5 stars. So,
that's good. That's good. Now I'm excited to read the other ones.
This was a 5, this was a 4.5, and this was a 4.5. I love that we got a male like main character who's just like so deplorable like from the beginning, and she didn't try. Like there was a lot of different like twists and reveals and stuff, but she didn't make him change throughout the book. And I think that's my favorite thing, is when she writes characters, they are who they are and they're unabashedly themselves, and she just like really goes for it. And I think that's my favorite thing. Let me look through the comments and see what people said. Okay, there's a good amount of like 4 and 5s, which I'm a little surprised about, just because I know that the last 2 that I read from her, I got a lot of comments like in the videos that I talked about them that were like, I don't get it. Samantha Downing, don't understand. So this makes me happy.
Yay.
Although I see some 2s. I see you. I get it. Okay. My first question. What is my first question? Let's just get into like the plot. So the book starts out with Teddy poisoning people. He wants the best for everyone. And he wants things to be easier for himself. So he poisons people in order to make them more like kind or awake or whatever he needs them to be the best that they can be. That's what he chooses to do. So I want to know, what did you think about his like morals, his motivations, and like, did you like him as a character? Why or why not? And I would also like that in the comments. I want to know, for those of you who didn't like it, is it because of who Teddy was and like being in his head How do you just feel about him as a character?
I think in thrillers, I love following like an unlikable kind of like morally gray character. Like that's like my favorite kind of character to read in a thriller, honestly. And Teddy's character, he kind of reminded me almost like of a Joe Goldberg, where he's like just like really like narcissistic and just like he's hard to root for, but like the kind of person you want to read about in a book like this. Like I don't know. And I love that he's like almost like upset that he's not getting credit for things. You know, he's just I don't know. I just thought he was really entertaining to follow from. And honestly, like he's the character I would have wanted to follow from the point of view in this book out of all the characters. Like I would have wanted his perspective. So I really enjoyed his character.
I definitely agree. And I like that he's driven, like in so many thrillers, I feel like so many people are driven from the point of view of like wanting revenge. I loved that he just wanted to teach lessons. Like, I don't know, I feel like it was really, really fitting a little bit because the first chapter, I kind of got it. Like when that guy was basically saying like, my time is more valuable than yours. And it's because I have more money in my bank account. I was like, all right, Teddy, kill them all. It's fine. Yeah. So like, I like how he was unlikable, but it was for a very specific reason that I think a lot of people could empathize with. Also, I like that. Did anybody else catch this? He reminded me of Santa Claus. Because listen.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, so Santa Claus gives out coal to children who are bad and presents to children who are good. He does that with grades, but both of them like milk. What? I don't know. Okay. I was thinking about that and I was like, who else likes milk? Because that's so specific. And I was like, oh my God, she wrote a jerk Santa Claus. I love it.
I mean, yeah, I didn't know that, but I'm on board.
I'm so on board.
Thank you.
A dark Santa Claus movie.
Lexi, people are like questioning, listen, but it fits with the milk.
I feel it. I really thought the milk was going to be more of a storyline. Like I really thought there was something going on with the milk.
I did too.
And I'm upset that there wasn't.
Yeah. People. I don't know if people agree, but yeah. What about you though, Kayla?
People, I just think it's really cool that I love this book club because sometimes I force people to step outside of their comfort zone with what they read. And what I've seen is a lot of thrillers and mysteries that people pick up are about like a victim main character who is experiencing things and just trying to like come to terms with grief and trying to get revenge, like you said. And this one is so different, and like you're not supposed to connect with Teddy. Nobody is supposed to be like, oh yeah, Teddy, he's making good decisions. Yeah. And forcing you to like confront that while reading is just a really cool element. And I love that we're in an age of publishing where we just get a terrible main character and we get to read from the villain's perspective, and like it just is what it is. I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
I don't think you necessarily needed to understand his motivations. It was just, you were just along for the ride, and I thought it was so fun. I too love an unlikable main character, and I'm glad that I got to introduce a book with such an unlikable main character to so many people. I also want to know what other characters stood out for you. Like, who did you enjoy reading from the most? Who would you have enjoyed reading from more, maybe?
I really liked Fallon's character.
Yeah,
I thought she just had a really cool story, and I liked, like the fact that she kind of got screwed over, and hers was almost like a really good revenge story. So
yeah. I thought hers was so different too, because if you follow everyone else, like Frank and Sonia and even Zach and stuff, everyone is motivated by their own specific justice system. And like, I'm doing this for somebody else's own good. But she was the only person who literally just wanted to take him down. Yeah. And I thought that was a really good juxtaposition, actually. I will say, though, about her that I was disappointed that she named her email Little Birdie. I was like, girl, your name is Fallon. Like, of course he's going to give you a D for that. Like, I mean, maybe Little Bird. As soon as I saw the email, didn't you guys know it was from Fallon? I was like, girl, a Fallon is a bird.
For sure.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a lot of points in this book that like, I I usually love a thriller where I get to guess what's going on, but this book was so just like in your face with like what was happening. Like you didn't have a lot of time to predict what was happening. There wasn't a lot of like guessing going on. It was just like these are all the characters and this is it. Maybe we should, for people who have not read it, who just wanted to hear all of the full spoilers, maybe we should go through like the characters. So we have, okay, so the storyline goes Teddy poisons who dies right from the very beginning.
I
It's
have it
Ingrid.
here. Yeah.
I think it's Ingrid first.
Ingrid, which is Courtney's mom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is going to be so convoluted for anyone who hasn't read it, but I just want to like cover the bases. So we've got Ingrid who dies, who's Courtney's mom, and everyone thinks that Courtney did it because she hated her mom. Like every teenage girl hates her.
I know that
Yeah.
was weird.
That was dumb that people just assumed it was her.
I
I was
know.
like, really?
Yeah, that was wild. And then she has a boyfriend named Zach who is like trying to get her out of jail. I think if we're talking about favorite characters, mine would probably be Zach because
I like him.
he didn't, I don't know, like I was kind of waiting for him to turn out to be a bad person, but he was genuinely just like throughout the book kept doing things to try to get on Teddy's good side. And I was like, he's kind of just like a nice guy. Everyone expects him to be like this rich asshole kid, and like in some cases he is, but in a lot of cases like he was just trying to get to know Teddy better.
Yeah.
To like it was to get better grades, it was for his own motivations, but I don't know, I just really liked him.
Yeah.
And then we had who died next.
Was it Sonia?
It was Sonia, I think. Yeah.
So Sonia was another teacher who
She
Why
had
did
to
they
die.
die?
She had to die because he was trying to prove that Courtney couldn't do it. So Courtney was arrested, and so he was
Yeah.
like, "Well, I mean, I got to kill someone. I might as well kill Sonia."
And
right,
didn't
that's
he intended to kill Sonia instead of Ingrid, right? Because he found
At-
out that. Yeah, right.
Kind of like at first he didn't really want to kill anyone. He wanted her to pass out because it's a
Oh, yeah.
classist thing. He was annoyed that she got this huge party.
Yeah.
put like a laxative in her tea,
Yeah.
and it was so funny. I will say I thought there was going to be more like twists throughout the book. I think I thought that you know when Zach was going through Teddy's desk and finding things out about like infertility and finding out things about like the plants that he had. I thought that Zach was going to like gift Teddy something as like a nice gift, is like here's a book about plants, and that
I
Teddy,
did too.
and that Teddy was going to think that he was being blackmailed, and that Zach knew.
Yeah.
So it was like he was just trying to like gift his teacher something nice, and then Teddy would have been like, "Oh my god, he gifted me a book about poisonous plants. He knows." And then he was going to have to take out Zach. That's where I thought it was going to go. These are full spoilers. If you're here and you thought we were spoiler free, we're not. So sorry. Okay, and then yeah, so Frank throughout the book thinks that like he's responsible for the murder, and it really messes with his mind. And it's very sad. And then, oh, where do we go from there?
I liked the twist of Fallon replacing Sonia as the teacher. That kind of happened like somewhere right in there, and I really liked Teddy's shock of like
Yeah. That
Fallon
was,
coming back.
Yeah, that was very funny. It was kind of like reading like their origin stories. Like I feel like each one of these characters could have their own book.
yeah.
Like this is what started Fallon's life
Yeah.
story, and then we got her own story, and then like Frank's origin story. Okay, I want to know, is there anything that you wish got more focus in the book? Like something you weren't fully, I know we all loved it, which is tough. I always like having like somebody who hated the book and somebody who loved the book on lives, because
Yeah.
then you have such different opinions. But I think for me, there's some things. Is there
Do you want to go
anything
first,
like that?
Gabby?
I can't really think of anything. Like the only thing I would think of is when all the like 6 people got poisoned. I feel like it almost came out of nowhere, and I was like, wait, did I miss something? Like I don't know. I thought I like misread what actually happened there, so I kind of wish we had a little bit more explanation on what happened to lead to that. I guess that's the only thing I can think of.
That's a good point. There's a couple for me. The first was that I wish we had seen more of Teddy in charge, because I'm interested to see like would his morals have changed? Because when he was a teacher, he was focused more on like, can you hear me, by the way? I hear like static.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, it's probably just my headphones. But I feel like in the beginning, he was more concerned about like teaching the students like a lesson. But then when he was the principal, he was like, well, let's have the most like rich people say stuff. Like, remember that one kid who they had, do you like the speaking? And he picked him because he thought like, well, his parents are the wealthiest. And it almost seemed like he was kind of shifting. Like, since he had power now, he was like less concerned about the money. And so I'm interested, like, would he still be teaching kids lessons on like a bigger level? Or would he have become a slightly different person just like organically? I don't know.
Yeah.
I agree with this one about the wife.
I do. Yeah, I agree too.
I like that we rated the book so high, but there's definitely things that I still think like could have been changed. I think this could have been, not that I would have wanted it to be, but I think it could have been like a 3-part series. Just because I agree with what Gabby said about like things happening so fast. Even with Sonia's death, I thought that it was because of the audiobook, that maybe I just wasn't paying attention. But like Sonia's death happened so fast and it was so vague. And there wasn't like a lot of lead up to it. And like part of me wants to appreciate that. But part of me is like, I wish that we had a little more build up, especially with those 6 like poisonings at once. I was like, wait, what just happened? Like,
I can see that. It kind of reminded me a little bit though of like Game of Thrones. You know how like the first time you watch Game of Thrones, you're like, oh, this is a main character. And then he's not. Like, I won't say what happens, but you know, he's not. And it's kind of the same thing. When she died, I was like, oh my gosh. And I think that's why I was more hooked, because it happened so quickly and she seemed like a main perspective. And I feel like Samantha Downing was kind of saying like, you don't know who I'm going to kill off. Like, you don't know what's going to happen next. And so many people, I mean, even Teddy, like everyone dies. And it was just so like gripping, because you had no idea like where she was going to go next. And everything that I thought was going to happen was wrong. Like the Fallon thing, I actually liked Fallon until I found out her backstory. And then I was like, okay, I hate her. I don't know.
I too thought that the wife was going to be dead.
Me too. I was very surprised.
I think that was intended. I think we were supposed to question where she was, because so maybe it's just because we've read other books where there's like a secret dead character and we don't know it for quite a while into the book. And I definitely thought the book was doing that. So I wanted more from the wife storyline. It was just a little too like simple. Once Zach went to the hospital and she was just there working, I was like, oh, okay. I don't know where I would have liked it to go from there. If I would have preferred her to be dead, or I would have preferred her to like take someone out or something to happen with her. But I did want more from her. Who else? I wanted more from the Zach thing, just because I thought he was going to like accidentally be blackmailing someone. That's what I wrote down in my notes. I wanted more from the milk storyline. I don't know why. I just feel like there should have been something related to the milk. And okay, what's your favorite aspect of the book? For me, it was the fact that there was like a little bit of a trial. I've recently realized that I love books that have like lawyers, and so I was not expecting there to be stuff between like Courtney and Zach, like getting accused of things and having to like take the stand and like meet with lawyers and stuff. So I wish there was maybe more of that too, but that was one of my favorite unexpected things. What's something you guys just really liked overall? Like a scene or an element or...
I just liked following from the point of view of somebody who's kind of like a psychopath, and just like you never know like what he's gonna do next. Like he was just really entertaining, and I also really liked the like school vibe, like the dark academia kind of vibes to it. Like I just love reading about like schools in general, like this. So that was probably my favorite thing.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things was probably that the writing style was so unique. Like every single character seemed like the protagonist and the villain at the same time. Like I could see how Zach would be, well, except for Zach. Zach is precious. Like That's the thing that really surprised me was I thought everyone in here was morally good and bad, but Zach seemed good the whole time. And then at the very end, he's like, I'm going to become a teacher. You know, it's for their own good. And I was like, does that mean, okay, because here's my question. Do you think that Teddy was right? He's a psychopath, but do you think he has good instincts? Because I thought he was just a psychopath, but he was right about Fallon. So is he right or is he wrong? I mean, he's wrong, but like, does he have, you know what I'm saying? Does he have like good instincts or is he, no?
I think everybody thinks that they are morally right. And so I was just like, I got where he was coming from, even though I didn't obviously support his actions. I was like, I see why he would think that. And I see how some of the things that he is choosing to do, he is seeing success and he's seeing himself as doing the right thing. So I too, like when Zach was like, it's for their own good at the end, I was like, does that mean
I don't know. Like
that he is bad or that he wants to do better? Like I was maybe lost there. There could be a spin-off of Zach.
Yeah. I agree with Monica though. I choose to believe he's the good guy, but it kind of implies a little bit like maybe Teddy was, because I thought Teddy was totally off until we found out about Fallon. And then I was like, there's no way he would know that, but she was absolutely cheating and she was a horrible person. So I don't know. And the thing is, I think Zach is my favorite and he's a precious, like good guy, but he does bribe people. He does do certain things that are questionable. Now, for the right reasons, I can get behind Zach, but like, he's not like, you know what I mean? Like he's a little morally gray too at certain points. I don't know.
Didn't Teddy only like dislike Zach because of his like rude rich dad? Like I don't know if it was necessarily like he didn't like Zach. It was just like he was punishing Zach because he thought his dad was like an asshole, right? Like
no, he gave him a B+ because he thought that Zach was smug, and that's why his dad came in. But actually, that's a good point because the whole time I was like, why doesn't he like Zach? Because Zach seems so cool the whole time. Yeah. So I couldn't figure out why he wouldn't like Zach. Do you know? Does anybody have a guess?
I think it's just like he wanted so badly for all of these kids to be successful. Like that's just like what the funniest part about this is he went through all of the wrong methods, but he was successful in like teaching them all something because like Zach did want to take advantage of certain opportunities and it's just so interesting how I'm trying to put words to what I'm thinking. Okay, sorry. My mind is blank.
I mean, I like what everyone is saying, basically, in the comments, too.
Mm-hmm. I think everyone can, like, read people differently, too. Like, characters are going to come off differently to different people based on, like, your own interpretations of them. Because, like, the whole thing about Teddy is, like, he doesn't really know what people's motivations are, and he's going to make certain assumptions about people and then base their grades off of certain things. It's just how every teacher has such a different, like, moral compass. And this isn't the type of like perspective you would ever expect a teacher to have.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite, or what was like the biggest twist for you? Like something that was shocking that you weren't expecting.
I don't know. I thought the twist at the end was really good when Frank had like set up for Teddy to be killed. I thought that was like a pretty surprising twist.
Me too. As everything about that, because I thought okay. I love Zach. He's probably my favorite character, but I didn't actually understand the point of Zach a lot of the times because I thought the reason he was there was to take down Teddy. And so at the end, when Zach turns all this into the FBI and nobody believes him because Teddy just dismisses it, and then he's just sitting there, I was like, well, then what was the point of Zach? And then Frank does it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Frank, go off. Like I was not expecting that at all. So that was probably my favorite twist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I really didn't know if Teddy was going to die in the end. Like I figured that would be how it goes, because like maybe the author wants to, not leave it at the end so like the terrible person just gets to continue being terrible. But I never know with Samantha Downing how she's going to wrap things up. So I did like the ending. I did like that Frank got so like fucked over that I was glad he had his moment.
Frank.
I think the biggest twist for me was actually that like Fallon was responsible for the end of their marriage. I really didn't know what Fallon's real storyline was going to be. So the fact that him getting a vasectomy was a little bit of a twist for me in the first place. Yeah. I was like, oh, he's just like an asshole who is going to lie to his wife. Yeah. And then Fallon exposing him for getting the vasectomy, and that's the reason they're not together. Mm-hmm. I was like, I really was not expecting that. I didn't know where Fallon's storyline was going to go at all. I thought she was an interesting character, but I had no idea, because there's so many characters in this book and there's so many perspectives that you never know who's going to matter. And I think that's a real skill of the book, is you don't know who's going to be responsible for what, and there's so just like many different convoluted things that I didn't know if Fallon was a key player, if she was important.
Yeah.
So having her little reveals were always the most shocking for me, because I thought she was like I thought she was going to be a good person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did too. I don't like her though. I do not like her.
Yeah, and how she was basically like responsible for the first headmaster's like suicide.
That's why I don't like her. As soon as I read that, I was like, Fallon, you are a bad person. I mean, they're all bad people, but the one thing though is I was kind of cool with him poisoning people. I'm like, you know what? Okay, he's a messy person, whatever. Like, it's dark academia, let's do murder. But what I wasn't okay with, the thing that like annoyed me, was that he gave this guy a B+. And I don't know why, but that just makes me so angry, because it's okay if you want to teach people lessons, but a B+ on something that deserves an A, I know that this happens, because I feel like this happened to me in I'm not going to go into it. But like,
you're going to start your own revenge plot?
Yeah. No, I don't know, but like I had one English teacher once who gave me a bad grade on an English paper, and I was like, there's no way that this, and I won't say how, but I know for sure that it was because of me. And I'm like, okay, fine. That annoyed me. The poison can stay though, it's fine.
I also think that but I think that's the skill of the book, is that you don't know who's going to take out Teddy. If you think that Teddy is going to die, there's 10 different people who could have done it, and every single one of them, you would have been like, yeah. Courtney killing him, Zach killing him, Frank killing him.
I did not see Frank doing it, though. That's crazy.
I know, me neither.
But you can understand any of them. Even if his wife came out of nowhere and was like, bye, I would have been like, yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting though Frank's wife to be besties with Allison. I feel like that one came out of nowhere. I was like, oh, I don't remember that very well, but okay.
Yeah.
I think the other what was the other one? The other shocking twist to me was finding out that Ingrid drugged Frank, or like got him so drunk that then she took photos of them together. I did not see that coming at all. I think because like you know that I think we get to read like Zach's parents and their like desperate need for their kid to be successful and get straight A's and whatever, but I wasn't really thinking about Courtney's parents. But so when Ingrid was like blackmailing Frank, got him so drunk, got him in bed together, took a photo, and then blackmailed him with that to get Courtney to have an A, I was like, that is so fucked up.
Yeah, it is. Just get her a tutor.
I can't even remember what Frank taught. Like, what was his subject?
Math. It was math.
Oh, okay.
And she was fine. She had a B, and it's like, okay, if it's a D, like, I mean, I don't get it.
Then blackmail someone.
Yeah, no. I need to get off this live show. Like,
Lexi's exposed.
How did you feel about this is so random, but how did you feel about the book mentioning like the coronavirus?
Yeah,
that was weird. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it was on page 57 when when Sonia got sick in the classroom, they were like, oh, it could be the Rona. And then like on the next page, somebody was like, oh no, it's not COVID, contrary to the rumors. And they were like, oh, COVID, good God, or whatever, like talking about it so casually. And I was like, that's so weird because then it makes me wonder, like, when does this take place then? Because if
Yeah.
COVID exists, but it's like they don't ever mention anything else, like masks or, whatever. So I'm like,
Oh,
what?
that's true.
Yeah,
That's so
I
random.
read that and I wondered like when she wrote this because I
I
was
know,
like, if it was the beginning of COVID, like she could have easily made Corona like too big of a deal or too small of a deal.
exactly. That's why I was
So
like, why
easily.
mention it at all if it's not going to be like
Yeah.
Oh,
more
that's a good
in
point.
the story?
I wonder
Yeah.
if it was more of it, and then like as the book went through publishing and Corona like became what
Yeah.
it was, if it got changed.
I know, maybe because they were like, no, we don't want to.
That's such a good point. I don't even think I thought about that. I will say though, I did really appreciate how the kids acted like kids. Like I've read some dark academia books where it feels like the kids almost act like adults. And I liked how in this one it stayed true to like how they were, going to a really, really nice school and they were very, very educated, but they acted still like teenagers. So it didn't feel as, I don't know how to like disjointed.
Mm-hmm.
That's my one critique of the audiobook, I think, is that I think the writing was successful in them being teenagers, and I just wish that, like, especially with Courtney, reading Courtney's voice in the way that he narrated it, I couldn't tell like what type of a character she was because he was so good at narrating Teddy and embodying Teddy, and then when he was narrating Courtney's parts, he made her sound the same as Teddy, like a little like edgy and vindictive, and I was like, but the words that she's saying sound like she's being genuine and scared in jail. But the way that he was narrating it, she sounded like a villain. And that is the one part that I struggled with a little bit. But I too agree. I feel like most of the academic setting books that I've read, that sentence didn't make sense. They're YA, and I don't end up liking them. But so introducing like some younger characters in an adult setting, I think this is like my preferred academic setting is from the perspective of teachers.
Yeah.
So to wrap it up, I wanted to know if you guys have any other recommendations because I have one, and we read it for a book club.
I was going to say that one.
Oh no, they never learned just because this too it's actually way more similar than I realized because we're following a teacher who we don't really understand her motivations, but she too is like killing people. Oh. So I didn't realize I had actually picked a couple book club picks this year
you have a type.
Are a little similar, and I'm glad because I've really enjoyed all of them. And then also All's Well that we're reading this month also has a I don't know if she's a teacher. You read it, right?
Yeah, she's a theater teacher.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know if she was like a volunteer, like an assistant, or like a full-on teacher. So if you guys don't like the teacher thing, I'm very sorry that I've done this to you. But that's what I'd recommend. If you enjoy For Your Own Good, that's my top recommendation. Or if you guys have any movie recommendations too.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that one with They Never Learn. I was going to say that one too. And I was also going to mention In My Dreams, I Hold a Knife. This one is it has the same like dark academia vibes, but it's from a student's point of view. But it's like there's like a whole group of students, and it's like one of those scenarios where like one of the friends got murdered and one of the friends got accused of the murder, and then you follow them like 10 years after college, and you're like flashing back and forth trying to figure out what actually happened. It's so good. It's one of my favorite thrillers of the year.
Ooh.
I've been avoiding your reviews just because I want to go into that book knowing nothing, so I didn't even know that about it.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's good. I'm gonna read it.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
I even thought.
Yeah, it's really, really good though. Like probably one of my favorite like dark academia vibe kind of books. It's just so good.
Ooh.
So I think maybe if you liked For Your Own Good and you like the dark academia stuff, I would definitely check out this one.
That's cool. Awesome. I don't have any books necessarily because I feel like this is very, very specific, but I would say tonally, even though the plot is different, it reminded me a little bit of Knives Out because that was one where you kind of knew like the plot anyways going into it, and it was dark, but it also had like a lot of dark humor. And that's the thing that I think makes this so unique is it's a thriller that also is quirky. So I was trying to think like tonally, like what it reminds me of. And I would say Knives Out, but I would also say two other ones. not totally at all, but Bad Teacher, which I love. I love that movie so much. So if you like the teacher thing and you like watching like morally gray people, love Bad Teacher. And then the other one was Monica said this on my channel, and it was she said it just now too. Election. Have you guys seen Election? It's like an older movie. Reminds me a lot of it.
That's Reese Witherspoon, right?
Yeah, and Matthew Broderick. As soon as she said that on my video, I was like, "You are so right." Yeah, Election. Yeah.
Somebody mentioned that like right at the very beginning. That's so funny you mentioned it because I wanted to pull up that comment again because I have never seen it. And seeing that comment, I was like, "Oh, maybe I do need to watch that."
It's similar. It actually reminds me a lot of if Fallon and Teddy it was just about them while Fallon was going to school, kind of.
Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna look through all of these. Oh, a couple of votes for My Dark Vanessa. Interesting. I'm excited to look through these comments more later and get some. I love these live shows because I always get things I've never heard of before. That's a good one too when no one is watching. And I always recommend like a good 90s girl gang movie. So highly agree with those. Okay. I think that was it. Actually, one of my questions was like, did you cast anybody in your head while you were reading it? But we kind of answered that from the beginning. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. I actually we kept on time this time. I'm so glad. I love keeping like a good 30-40 minute live show because I know that everybody has so many things to do. So that's it. We are reading All's Well for the month of September. And then soon I will be announcing the October and November picks. There's going to be a little Instagram story game matchup where we pit a bunch of books against each other to select the November pick. So make sure you're following the Instagram that I will add the link down below for. And the links down below are also for Gabby and Lexi's channel, so you can go subscribe. Please. Thank you very much. And thank you guys for joining me. I really like talking this through with you. There's always things that I like learn. Like I love just hearing other people's thoughts about books that I love. Because I always get more from it by the end of it.
Me too.
Same, yeah. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, what an honor. Are you kidding me? And it was a great excuse to wear this in 80 degrees. So.
Right? You look so on trend and you didn't even have Oh my god, that's so funny. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next month for All's Well.
Bye. Bye.